In the world of old money, for those whose wealth stretches across multiple generations, an intriguing shroud of mystery persists, making their timeless financial secrets appear unattainable to the many who observe them from the outside. Furthermore, old money's seemingly self-assured confidence during any form of social interaction, that elusive happiness and contentment with their station in life that we all crave, feels like something only reserved for a select few. Now, as the years pass in this increasingly difficult 21st century, the dual goals of prosperity and happiness register as gradually challenging to achieve. However, lucky for us, the old money class holds a particular lens, a blueprint, if you will, that promises to demystify these daunting paths. Thus, in today's episode of Old Money Luxury, we have the privilege of uncovering the top 10 rules of old money in the pursuit of wealth and happiness. To keep things comprehensive and practical for your own personal growth, we'll first provide a wealth rule of old money, and then a happiness rule of old money second, alternating between the two as we move forward. Using the timeless perspective of these wealthy dynasties, we'll show you their lessons in the delicate art of relationship management, the quiet power of subdued prosperity, the profound mastery of time, and the ability to identify then seize opportunities in the midst of crises. So, without further ado, my friends, join us as we venture into the world of the quiet but confident and explain the top 10 old money rules of wealth and happiness. First, approaching the realm of old money calls for a recalibration of your concept of labor and wealth. The notion that a salary, no matter how large, can amass vast amounts of generational wealth that span across decades is fundamentally flawed. Contrary to the prevalent ethos of wage-based employment, old money circles are never attached to a standard 9-to-5 grind. When the members of this class engage in what might be construed as work, it rarely constitutes the main artery of their income stream. It is imperative to realize that their wealth is not a direct consequence of their labor. Rather, it arises from the astute management of their assets. Embracing the roadmap of affluence requires adopting this perspective. Old money families avoid the classic paradigm of trading time for money, a concept that only resonates with the employed classes. The cornerstone of the old money economic model lies not in labor, but in asset ownership. It's a simple yet potent blueprint. Procure assets, harness income, and subsequently reinvest in additional assets. In circumstances where capital is insufficient for asset procurement, the remedy is to create or acquire assets. The focus should not be on pursuing money, but on amassing assets. A case in point is John D. Rockefeller, who transcended mere employment in an oil refinery to create the asset of oil refining itself. Individuals of old money stock own and leverage assets to sustain their lovely lifestyles, continually striving to enlarge their portfolio. The judicious accumulation and expansion of assets are the bedrock of their economic triumph. Furthermore, old money individuals are always flanked by a veritable army of financial advisors and professionals who provide them the best possible advice. Therefore, it's crucial to consult a registered financial professional on the matters that we're discussing, rather than interpreting this video as financial advice, because it is not. Enjoy the video, but do your own research first and foremost. Now, from the old money perspective, while engaging in fulfilling endeavors is undoubtedly vital for personal gratification, their paramount financial objective is the accumulation of solid assets, the perennial sources of old money revenue. Assets, in the simplest of terms, are resources that continually top up your coffers without requiring additional effort. Such an approach frees up your time, enabling you to dedicate attention to the truly vital facets of life: relationships. In today's fast-paced Western world, the average individual's focus often gravitates towards ascending their career ladder, neglecting the fundamental importance of nurturing relationships, both personal and financial. As the countercultural waves of quiet quitting and simple living surge across the internet, people are beginning to challenge short-sighted careerist paths. Old money families possessing centuries of wisdom have long understood the futility of viewing life as a relentless upward climb. They prioritize relationships over transient career gains, maintaining a broad perspective spanning generations. Their rich long-term viewpoint extends beyond personal lifespan to their descendants, and even humanity's collective future. This does not imply constant engagement with every family member or network contact, but rather a gentle shift away from rigid career and financial benchmarks as the sole sources of happiness. A glaring example of this long-term approach can be seen in the Mars family, owners of the multinational company Mars Incorporated. With a net worth of around $94 billion, they rank as America's third richest familial dynasty. Rather than chasing individual fame, they prefer to sustain the family-owned business, originally established by Frank Mars in 1911. Their attention is not directed towards personal publicity, but towards preserving their legacy through generations. On the other hand, short-term careerists are consumed with immediate gains, often to the detriment of their relationships. They operate on a fleeting timescale, leaving their interpersonal bonds in a state of disrepair. To experience the enduring happiness associated with old money, embrace the maxim, play long-term games with long-term people. This relationship-centered philosophy could potentially serve as your guide to lasting wealth and deep-seated satisfaction. By valuing authentic connections over career advancement, you are likely to find a more fulfilling, prosperous path. History is insightful in delineating the trajectories of old money families. Those that thrived upheld a dynastic ownership mindset, while those dwindling morphed into individual consumers. The Vanderbilt family, once the pioneers in the development of America's transportation infrastructure, experienced an unfortunate downfall as their value system shifted dramatically with each passing generation. Their dynasty, initially erected by Cornelius Vanderbilt, who was instrumental in rail system innovation, started to crumble when his descendants traded the ethos of creation for the lure of extravagant consumption. One striking example of this decline is evident in the story of Cornelius Vanderbilt II, who built the Breakers, a 70-room Italian Renaissance-style mansion in Newport, Rhode Island. Its construction cost in today's money would be over $150 million. This shift from investing in assets to spending on lavish lifestyles became a characteristic pattern in subsequent generations, leading to the depletion of their inherited wealth. Contrarily, the Rockefellers presented a stark difference in their approach to preserving and growing their wealth. John D. Rockefeller Sr., the founder of Standard Oil and the family's wealth, laid the groundwork for what would become a dynasty focused on the continuous expansion of their asset portfolio. John D. Rockefeller Jr., for instance, made strategic investments in real estate, including the famous Rockefeller Center in New York City. Even today, the Rockefellers are committed to this ethos of asset ownership and diversification. They have managed their wealth through generations, making strategic investments in various industries, including energy, real estate, and even venture capital for tech startups. This ability to adapt to changing economic landscapes while maintaining their focus on asset ownership has safeguarded their wealth for over a century. These contrasting histories underscore a cardinal tenet of wealth. Old money advocates for a dynastic perspective, heavily emphasizing asset ownership. This principle, echoing rule number 1, is a reminder of the importance of not merely earning and spending, but instead continually investing in and growing one's asset portfolio. Such families comprehend that consumption is a transient individualistic endeavor, depreciating over time. In contrast, ownership signifies accruing and managing wealth-yielding assets that benefit not just the current generation, but future ones. This outlook ensures the preservation, expansion, and perpetuity of wealth, enabling families to sustain their old money stature over centuries. As such, embarking on your wealth creation journey necessitates this dynastic mindset. Eschew the enticement of visible consumption, focus on asset ownership, augment influence, and lay the foundation for a lasting legacy spanning generations. This strategy remains a key to mastering the old money ethos. A prevalent sentiment that often permeates our societal psyche is a deep-seated mistrust or even animosity towards those blessed with wealth, abundant resources, or a seemingly idyllic family life. Intriguingly, this sentiment isn't exclusive to those in less fortunate circumstances. Even individuals aspiring to attain similar wealth or bliss often harbor covert resentment or skepticism about the means to such an end. The affluent, particularly those in the old money class, however, possess a discerning understanding of the true nature of wealth. They refute the commonly held belief that money, in itself, is the source of all malevolence. They recognize that money, devoid of moral bearings, is a neutral entity, merely a tool whose virtue or vice is determined by the character of the person wielding it. Money does not necessarily engender a transformation in an individual's intrinsic nature. Instead, it acts as a magnifying lens, amplifying one's inherent characteristics. A generous and kind-hearted individual upon acquiring wealth will find the means to extend their benevolence further, performing acts of goodwill on a larger scale and impacting a broader community. In contrast, an individual predisposed to greed and selfishness, when provided with the means, may use wealth to exploit others to advance their own interests, often at the cost of others' well-being. The essential truth to remember here is that money is simply a tool, a medium of exchange. Its moral weight, whether it brings about good or harm, is assigned by the person who wields it. This realization underscores a fundamental truth. The journey to wealth requires more than just financial savvy. It necessitates a mastery over one's character and intentions. Instead of succumbing to resentment or envy towards the wealthy or blissful, we should strive to understand their path and nurture a constructive and positive attitude towards the attainment of wealth and happiness. Similarly, navigating the journey to wealth isn't a solitary venture. It often requires crossing paths with those already fluent in the language of prosperity. A fundamental rule is to surround yourself with individuals who have attained a degree of affluence, understanding that their wisdom and experience can become your learning ground, thereby significantly increasing your chances of following in their prosperous footsteps. However, don't misunderstand this rule. It's not as effortless as merely engaging with a wealthy individual and expecting them to hand you the keys to financial success. Genuine, beneficial relationships are not constructed solely on the foundations of financial interest. They necessitate a deeper understanding of the person behind the wealth, grasping their triumphs, their struggles, and the hard-learned lessons along their journey to success. An integral part of your path to financial abundance lies in your ability to approach those who have effectively cracked the code of wealth. Engage with them, learn from them, appreciate their experiences and accomplishments. Resist the impulse to judge or allow jealousy to cloud your perception. Instead, strive to understand their journey and extract useful insights that can help guide your own. Regrettably, our societal conditioning often pushes us to project our insecurities and apprehensions onto the affluent, sparking unnecessary bias and resentment. Steer clear of such an outlook. Instead, turn any underlying negativity into inquisitiveness, leveraging these relationships as a means to broaden your understanding and accelerate your progress. Remember, your trek towards financial prosperity or personal happiness may well commence with a simple yet enlightening conversation with the right individual. The critical aspect is to approach these interactions with a receptive mind, prepared for absorbing wisdom and priming for personal growth. Gradually, you'll find yourself inching closer to mastering the game of wealth, adopting the mindset and methods of the truly affluent. Among the unwritten conventions of old money, one of the more well-known rules is crucial: mastering the craft of concealing the full extent of your wealth. In our current era, your societal rank is frequently tethered to your financial standing, hence making it compelling to flaunt our economic conquests as though they were our laurels of achievement. Yet, true sagacity rests in nurturing an ambience of monetary modesty. The rationale for this rule stems from the predicament that with the growing aura of wealth comes an eager audience seeking financial gains or loans. These characters, driven by their self-interest, imperceptibly alter your surroundings. Publicizing your economic might may offer a fleeting sense of pride, yet the long-term implications are not worth this ephemeral high. The warning transcends the realm of tangible wealth. If your way of life is an ostentatious display of your wealth, it risks creating a halo of superiority. While this might momentarily attract the spotlight, it won't foster sincere relationships. The resultant effect is the breeding of envy and resentment, endangering prospective friendships. So what is the ideal approach? Exercising humility, appreciating your wealth in silence, and suppressing the urge to exhibit your financial triumphs are the keys to this mastery. People of old money stature hold a discerning eye when it comes to selecting those who inhabit their immediate circles, often necessitating distance even from those they harbor genuine affection towards. Contrary to conventional thinking, familiarity or strong emotional ties do not obligate an everlasting commitment or proximity. People grow, circumstances change, and sometimes separation is the natural progression. Individuals in the realm of old money understand this nuance of relationships. They can harbor profound respect and love for certain people, yet acknowledge that a close, long-term connection might not be viable or beneficial. Their wisdom lies in understanding that not everyone they value needs to be present in their daily lives, and that affection does not equate to an obligation to maintain a close relationship. This perspective is not a manifestation of disloyalty or inauthenticity, as some might hastily conclude. Instead, it reflects a level of discernment, self-care, and a commitment to protecting their family and personal environment. It underscores the importance of prioritizing one's mental, emotional, and even financial well-being over societal expectations in relationships. In essence, the old money approach to relationships respects love and affection, but maintains a firm grasp on reality, understanding that one can hold individuals dear to their heart, yet maintain a respectful distance in their life. The next old money rule in our portfolio signifies that significant wealth often emerges from the ashes of crises. Many overlook the reality that the zenith of wealth creation frequently aligns with economic downturns. During financial crises, as stock markets plummet and widespread panic selling ensues, savvy investors discern the opportunity to procure shares at drastically reduced prices. This strategy facilitates capitalizing on market nadirs, promising substantial returns as the market recovers. An illustrious example of this tactic lies in the actions of Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. during the Great Depression. His prosperity during this period can largely be attributed to his judicious decision to liquidate most of his stock holdings prior to the notorious 1929 market crash. Heeding the counsel of trusted advisors, he shed virtually all his stock assets, including his holdings in Pate, precluding the catastrophic losses suffered by many. This strategic divestment allowed him to shield his wealth while others faced financial ruin. Furthermore, as the Depression progressed, Kennedy astutely turned to investment-grade real estate. Leveraging the precipitous drop in property prices, he seized the chance to acquire premium commercial real estate for a mere fraction of its pre-Depression value. By 1935, his judicious investments had swelled his fortune to $180 million, equivalent to approximately $3.84 billion today. Thus, when faced with crisis, by donning the lens of opportunity, we can transform potential disaster into a nursery for fortune. Every crisis, then, holds the potential to be a cradle of wealth, ripe for the discerning and daring investor. Comparison is a lethal trap, often revealing a characteristic of new money or no money individuals. These people are seemingly on an incessant quest for the newest possessions. This need for constant comparison is driven by an insatiable appetite for validation, a craving to measure up to others' standards. It propels them to acquire the latest trends, not because of personal satisfaction or utility, but to mirror what others perceive as valuable. This habitual comparison can fuel impulsive buying decisions and an unhealthy fixation on unaffordable luxuries, spiraling into a bottomless pit of materialism and masking true unhappiness. The focus shifts from personal financial health and life goals to a race for ephemeral, superficial symbols of success. Embracing the old money mindset urges you to shun this damaging cycle of comparison. Financial wisdom suggests a resolute concentration on your own financial landscape and aspirations, rather than measuring your worth against the yardstick of others' accomplishments or possessions. Resist the pull of comparison and redirect your energy toward forging a financial path aligned with your personal vision of success and happiness. In this realm of old money success, wealth extends beyond the confines of your bank account, enriching life with peace, contentment, and sustained happiness. And now we arrive at the final old money rule, and consequently the most important to follow. It says, quite naturally, that you must spend less than you earn. This principle may appear obvious, yet many succumb to the intoxicating allure of monetary excess, frequently venturing beyond their fiscal means. Two primary factors kindle this damaging conduct. First, the misconceived confidence that you can perpetually make more money to subsidize lavish spending. Friends, it's vital to recognize that inflation subtly gnaws at your earnings, even if your money remains idle or if your spending doesn't increase. Thus, there's a need to continually amplify earnings, not merely replace them. Secondly, emotional impulse buying, a habit that, if left unchecked, can rapidly cascade into debt and financial chaos. The advent of technology has expedited reckless spending and often blinds individuals to their financial woes until their funds have vanished. Indeed, mastering this rule of wealth is fundamental to ascending into the old money echelon. Moreover, as mentioned in rule number 1, it's crucial to understand that old money doesn't merely hoard cash or save currency, so to speak. Instead, they invest in appreciating assets. Hence, it's not merely about saving money, It's about deploying your funds in a manner that generates ongoing returns. It's about making your money work for you, ensuring that your capital is not just conserved, but continually augmented. And now it's your turn to share your thoughts. Which of these rules have you implemented before in your life, or seen someone incorporate on their journey to success? We love hearing from you, and if you'd like to watch content similar to this, click the video on screen to keep viewing. As always, we appreciate your viewership here at Old Money Luxury. And cheers until next time.